Hello tanks and tankettes, welcome to a viewer replay, and this is Nervos in his Tiger 1. He's not top tier, but this is still not totally awful matchmaking. It's Himmelsdorf and it's a tier 8 battle. But if you look at the team list, the enemy team, given that this is Himmelsdorf, they have a distinct advantage. They've got an IS-6, a KV-4, an AT-15 and a T-28, all tanks with lots of armour. This team doesn't. They've got 5100, an FCM-50T. They do have a Super Pershing, but so does the enemy team. The Jagdpanther 2 and the Jagdtiger 88, well, they're good when they're hull down, but if they don't get to go hull down, then the frontal armour on those isn't that great. So, Nervos immediately goes down the hill. Now, I would have, like, Himmelsdorf, if I'm thinking of not going up to the hill myself, I always, yeah, that T20. I always think it's a good idea to just wait 5-10 seconds, see what the rest of your team's doing, and you're not wasting too much time. And then if it looks like more tanks are needed on the hill, you can decide to change your plans. So that is a little PSA, a little piece of advice there. But as it's turned out, there are lots of tanks going to the hill from this team. In fact, it's probably over half the team on the hill. So numbers-wise, it's okay, but remember what I said about armour. Look at the minimap right now. I'm actually going to concentrate more on the minimap for the next, I don't know, minute more than I am at what Nervos is doing, because he's making his way towards the cap. There's nothing much going on right now, but basically the tanks that the enemy team have, they are going to be able to quite effectively bully the friendly tanks on the hill. Now they have pushed round the side of the castle, and you can see there's the Type 59 that's trying to get shots on things. The Jagdpanther 2 is there, but they're already pushing on the FCMs down. That Tiger P is not going to stand against the AT-15A, so they're really getting pushed back against that kind of the 9 line, really, the kind of the lower ground on the hill. Lower ground on the hill, that makes no sense whatsoever. But anyway, they're getting increasingly pressured. They are surrounded. There's no chance for any of them to escape, and it's not looking good at all. And that is all down to the matchmaker in this particular battle. You can look at the team deployment and say, well, there were enough tanks on the hill, but the enemy team just had that armour advantage, and sometimes matchmaker just kind of tips it one way or the other, unintentionally. And it kind of did that in this case. So we are losing tanks left, right and centre, but those tanks on the hill are crucially going down swinging, and some of them are going down swinging very hard indeed. Meanwhile, Nervos is pushing up round behind the gap. This is not at all stealthy, because as you can see from the 50-metre radius circle on the minimap, they will have seen him coming up here. So yeah, but he's taking out this, well, kill securing that T25 too, along with the E25, who probably did the lion's share of the damage to that guy. So that was a very sneaky kill secure actually, but bear in mind, you know, WZ-111 mission, you did need kills for that. You know, they've taken out that support from this end, so that's good. T29 pretty much caught with his pants down, and he does get a hit off at Nervos, but yeah, that fire. So that's another fire, this time caused by Nervos, not the E25, but that's a decent number of hit points to get from that one vehicle. Now, back at that SU-152, that's the safest place to get one of those from, and unfortunately he's making a getaway, and there's a Tiger over there on the 1 line as well, so his attention's split right now. Meanwhile, on the hill, things went really, like the last couple of tanks, that 5100 and that Super Pershing. The Super Pershing's still alive, but he's not going to be for much longer. They really fought hard, and you will see at the end on the score screen that the Super Pershing and the 5100, they're pretty close to the top of the team. They did, between them, a pretty respectable amount of damage considering the opposition they were up against. The Super Pershing is about to die, unfortunately, but they've taken out way more tanks than it would have seemed like they could initially. So Nervos is just auto-aiming right now, and there's a bit of hesitation here. I don't know why. He did repair his ammo rack. Unfortunately, as he was coming around the corner, his ammo rack got taken out. So maybe he was just frantically looking at his keyboard to press the right buttons. That might have been that what caused that distraction. But either way, it probably was going to be the case that he'd take that extra hit anyway. But even so, you don't want to hesitate in front of an enemy tank like that. So there's the M12, and I am... that's an average roll. He needed an above average roll to kill this guy, and I am clenching so hard right now. Oh, that hurts. Oh, okay, that's bad. The IS-6, if he popped out right now, would have a beautiful shot at Nervos and could easily one-shot him. In fact, I don't think there's any way he could not kill Nervos. So that artillery hit, that was really bad. He possibly could have tried to avoid it. He could have tried to back up, maybe. Maybe he was just counting on his reload being better. And, oh, hello, sneaky little MT-25. We're going to see more of that MT-25, actually. He does play really well, considering. Light tanks on Himmelsdorf. You need to be in this kind of situation. You need to be at the kind of level where there's a bunch of low health tanks running around and you can be sneaky and use your speed to get around and do surprise butt sex damage on people. Anyway, there's the MT-25 by the way. So nice shot on the IS-6, caught him with his pants down, but that MT-25 gets in another hit. He's now a one-shot kill for everything apart from the bats. For the MT-25, yes. Now, I initially, when it was going around that corner, I was wondering why he didn't aim up at the KV-4 instead. And yeah, it was a really long-range shot, but the KV-4, you know, it goes both ways. The KV-4 was able to shoot him, and that was incredibly lucky. So, he was unlucky to have missed that shot on the MT-25, but it wouldn't have killed the MT-25. The shot from the KV-4, on the other hand, would have killed Nervos, so... yes. No, I would say he has used up a fair share of his life. If he was a cat, that would be at least a couple of lives he would have used up by now. The artillery certainly could have done more damage to him. And then that KV-4 shell, by all rights, should have killed him, but didn't. So he's really lucky to be alive now. So we've come down to this. Him and this Jagdtiger 8.8 and 3 enemies. The T-29 is pretty low health. The IS-6 was actually quite dangerous, but him and this Jagdtiger, I mean, this is... oh, that was... no, again, luck. That was a hell of a shot. The point of this replay is this. Like, him and this Jagdtiger, their backs are against the wall, but it's a lot closer than it looked like it was going to be. The 5100 and the Super Pershing on the hill, they both ended up dying in the end. But they did a lot of damage before they went down. They killed more tanks than, by any right, they should have been able to, considering what they were up against. A 5100 especially. You're not going to bounce many shells in that thing, so that must have been a heck of a fight. I almost wish I could see that fight. But the scenario now is that Nervos and this Jagdtiger have control of the cap. And they have control of the situation. And it all comes down to, well, it really all comes down to the KV-4, how much health he has. Because we know the T-29 is very low health and he can't really comfortably sit hull down anywhere. The MT-25 is actually also a fairly big threat right now. Because if they're concentrating on these 2 heavy tanks, this MT-25 can pop out, do damage. Now again, also aiming, and that's kind of unlucky that one missed. But, oh, one more will kill him. Oh. He came very, very, very close to dying there, at which point the Jagdtiger, although he's still got a decent number of hit points, would have just simply been overwhelmed. And it probably would have been the MT-25 that would have been able to get in behind him, because that thing, on a map like Himmelsdorf, you know, on kind of hard ground, terrain-wise, it's actually got a pretty decent turn of speed. It's just the maneuverability isn't anything like what the old T-25, the T-50-2s used to be. So, the KV-4, we know now that he's low health. It looks like he was maybe trying to go round north. And again, Nervos has positioned himself to use this T-29 wreck. And he needs all the, like, he needs every advantage. He doesn't want to sit out in the open. Any shot will kill him. HE would kill him at this point. The T-29 hasn't made any moves recently. And they're basically, this is like this kind of level of teamwork in a random battle, where you're watching another person's back and you're watching theirs and you're just having to trust a total stranger. It's nerve-wracking because you don't know how good they are, but the fact they've managed to survive and you've managed to survive, it's usually a good sign. And although it's rare, when this kind of thing happens, it's actually really nice. So yeah, we've got 5 minutes, over 5 minutes left on the clock. The KV-4 and the T-29, well, they're going to lose either way. So in their shoes, it's like you might as well try, because you never know, you might pull off something impossible. And there we go, KV-4 makes his move. and just showing his turret, although it was kind of pulling out sideways, but that was, again, a hell of a shot, not even fully aimed. I would say quite lucky, the fact that it wasn't fully aimed, but a lot of people, like that KV-4 mini turret, it's kind of a weak spot and it kind of isn't. It's fairly well armoured, but if you've got enough pen and a KV-4 sticking out their turret like that, it's often worth going for that. Like, it's not a reliable shot, and there we go, T29. Yeah, what did he have to lose at that point? that KV-4 mini turret, like, I've painted that with 175 paint guns. It's possible. Anyway, that ended up being a hell of a result. I mean, it started off looking very iffy, and instead it came down to being a very, very close battle, and it was that very close teamwork between him and Pal Salent there in the pack, the 8.8 pack Jagdtiger thingy. Why did I just say Jagdtiger 88? I don't know, I'm making things complicated for myself. But they basically were able to carry the day through, and Nervos in particular had a very decent score. And as I said, the 5100, like the Jagdtiger actually came third on the team. The Super Pershing that was on the hill came second, and the 5100 that was on the hill came fourth. Those four players really, between them, carried that battle. Next, below that we had the Type 59, 1600 damage, not too bad. And then after that, E25 900 damage, another Tiger 500 damage, T24 87 damage, T37 227. Tiger Peas did pretty much nothing. The Jagdpanther 2 died doing nothing, and that T29 clearly did go AFK because he didn't even fire a single shot. So it was down to just a couple of players, and I feel like we actually only saw almost half of that battle, because that must have been a hell of a fight on the hill as well. And it's one of those ones where actually it'd be great to have that point of view to intercut the different point of view from what was happening up on the hill. Because what happened there at the end of the battle with Nervos on that Jagdtiger, that was quite tense at places, and it was really nice to see that level of teamwork with a random player. But what happened on the hill must have also been equally as gripping, I think, because the 5100 especially, surviving as long as he did, and that Super Pershing as well, they both did an excellent job. And the 5100, like, you consider that thing's got a 40+ second reload on its clip. The fact that he managed to stay alive for so long, it's just, I don't know, the mind boggles. I would have liked to have seen that. Anyway, I just thought this was a good game anyway, from even just seeing Nervos' point of view, and hopefully you agreed with me, and if you did, you can hit the like button, you can leave any comments below, you can hit the subscribe button, and as always, stay tuned for more.